Okay, we back. So what we're gonna do is, what's the next slide after this?
Truth.
Truth. So we're gonna start here next week because this is is deep, and I want to go deep into this, and it's gonna take a while. So we're gonna just transition to Nana. All right. Peace. Oh, is it? Oh, shit.
Hold on a second, y'all. We're going to resume things real quick. Is there any questions? By the way, class was great. Our main system just showed a computer error. So we'll just pick up a brand new computer this week and format it and have another computer sit in its place. So we don't have this problem moving forward. Before I start to proceed, because I just didn't get a chance to adjust, is there any questions for Court around anything in the class, which can give me a quick, like, man, I'm just trying to eat. But yeah, just take a couple of questions real quick. Just real quick, give me a second.
Oh yeah. So the question from Shakina was about how did I transition away from not telling the story? So I was saying thing number one was to decide not to tell it no more. And it was super, super, super tempting to tell my story when other people were going through similar things that I've gone through in the past that was dark and emotionally pulling. And I was like, oh, I want to relate to you so bad. I want to tell this story. So I had to refrain in those moments to not tell it, because that comes also from a fear of not being liked, right? So the thing to make it really work at that moment is you got to stop caring what people think about you. You got to be comfortable with people not liking you. And the thing is, sometimes people have a stigma on successful people. They like immediately like, oh, you one of them rich motherfuckers, huh? You part of the system. You part of them. The people holding us. But you got to be comfortable with who cares what you think. And that way, you're not leaning towards telling your story, because you know for your benefit, for your growth, you have to tell yourself a new one. You got to create a new story for you. And it can include always going back there. Now, occasionally, or like in moments where it's a necessity, yeah, for sure. But it ain't important, because a lot of times we do it, and when we do it, we feel the feelings in it while we're telling it, and it brings your vibration down. Sorry for y'all that ain't woo-woo like that. I could use a different word. But it when you feel the feelings, it brings you down too. And now you got to, like, clear that out. I don't want to be there no more. So I'm not even going to be there in thought either, because I'm trying to go here. So like those are the two major things, was really deciding to not tell it. And in the moments where it's tempting to tell it, hold my ground. And then it's not caring. No, I don't care what you think. You're going to think what you think anyway. So I hope that helped.
Thanks, Corey. I don't know if you guys caught this or picking up on this. Does Corey feel like a preacher for the last 2 weeks? He's been bringing some serious, heartfelt sermons. I feel like he's been bringing the class to a come to Jesus moment. I really appreciate you, bro. Because he's been landing. I'm back there just forgetting to do what I'm supposed to do. Let me just say something before I get started. And go ahead, Josh, go ahead and cue me up for my first set of slides. I want to talk about 3 quick things. 1, quick tips. This is game. Write this down. It's okay to trust a person that's seeking knowledge. Never trust a person who says they got knowledge. Trust me, that's going to save you so much money. Somebody seeking truth, go with it. That's somebody you can trust. Somebody says that they have the truth, do not trust them. I promise you that's the most gain you probably ever get in this class. There's so many people going to run game on you and say they have the truth. At that point, turn on your distrust monitor. When somebody says they're seeking truth, it's okay to engage them in trust. That's one. Two, all right, Shakina, I'm going to steal some of your clients. I'm going to give you some game on weight loss, business growth, or even goal development. I was sitting in the gym the other day and I talked to somebody. They was telling me about these new hacks. You know, one was a sauna hack. I've heard people talk about food hacks, drink hacks, sleeping hacks. There's only one thing you should focus on hacking. I promise you, after being in the gym for 20-something years, hack consistency. You hack that shit, you get all the results you want. I promise you. Every time somebody comes with this little shortcut, I'd be like, hack consistency. Figure out how to stay consistent, and I promise you life gets better. But all this, I'm eating this and drinking this and all these shortcuts and accelerating everything, most of that shit never works. One thing I noticed from being in the gym for 20 years, very few people have ever hacked consistency. So, and now trust me, you can get caught up in this like, I'm getting ready for the summer, I'm getting ready for the winter, I'm getting ready for this new woman, I'm getting ready for my marriage, getting ready for my divorce. I don't know what you get ready for. Bottom line, hack consistency. Short recap from last week. We talked about incentives. And incentives is how you control 1,000-member team, 100-member team, not your direct engagement. Direct engagement is highly limited. So when you're trying to run a large organization, a city, state, country, or any form of large group, you have to get your incentive game down. But I want to also and hopefully you guys went back and worked on developing your incentive maps, which is how do you make sure that your incentive map is, how are you impacting your employees, your customers, your vendors, your investors, all four of those areas should be managed through incentives. If you don't have an incentive plan, then sometimes you may gain this sense of being victimized. But the reason you're being victimized because you haven't developed an incentive plan. But can I make this personal for a second? Is it okay if I make this personal? You remember in class we talked that whatever happens to you, it may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And also in this class, you know how we've always demonized victimization? Being victimized. Oh my God, this is happening to me. Oh my God, white supremacy, I can't handle it. Oh, okay. But let's even make it a little even more grounded and personal. These people be hating on me. Trash. Or let's say you say things like, they just don't want to see me shine. Trash. Or if like something's always standing in my way. Trash. My family don't treat me a certain kind of way. Trash. I don't get a certain kind of love from people. Trash. You know what you're lacking? The invisible power of incentives. What are you doing to incentivize people's behavior towards you? How people treat you, you're pulling the levers of incentives, you don't even know you're doing it. Once you take on radical responsibility, somehow it starts to clean your vision and you start to see that invisible lever called incentives. And you start realizing the reason people treat you a certain kind of way because you incentivize them to treat you a certain kind of way. I have horrible dates. Incentives. No one really supports me. Incentives. Like, how do you move to encourage people to show up for you? Are you seeing those opportunities to pull that lever of incentives? Or only are you tunneling around what's happening for you as a superpower narcissist with a cape on, with a big N on the back of your shirt? And the only thing you care about is what's happening to you, but you don't see how you're incentivizing how people show up to you. Most of the times when most of you guys are dealing with life full of friction from other human beings, you're not seeing how you're playing a role in incentivizing their behavior towards you. I was talking to somebody, and he was telling me about how somebody should care about what's happening to him. And as he's talking to me, I said, and then he told me that he stayed with a family member, I think grandmother or grandfather, and he lives in the basement. I asked him, I said, why should anybody give a fuck about you? You're not incentivizing anybody to give a fuck about you. You're not. I have enough in my life to worry about. Why do I give a fuck about a man staying in his grandparents' house? I don't. Nobody does. If you want people to care about you, then do some shit that's valuable so people care about you. Incentivize me to give a fuck. But stop moving with entitlement. Entitlement is the opposite of incentives. You think the world's supposed to show up for you, but you have never incentivized the world to show up for you. There are some people you're like, why does she or he get all the love? But do you watch what they do day to day, how they show up, how they look out for other people, how they position themselves in this world, how they show up to their own disciplines? Your life is often being controlled by incentives, and you just turn those negative outputs or those outcomes to the devil, hate. Black folks don't love each other. We like crabs in a bucket. No, we not. No, the fuck we not. I had a partner say, it's hard for me to hire black people because you have a fucked up incentive system. So not only black people gonna rob you, it's gonna take a little bit longer for the whites and Latinos and Asians to rob you, but they're gonna rob your ass because you don't incentivize anybody not to rob your ass. Like, you got to take ownership back. That's what radical responsibility. See, when you have radical responsibility, you take the ownership back and go, well, what am I doing to create this situation? As opposed to the world is working against me. The world is the world. The world's going to do what the world's going to look, die tomorrow. And if somehow you're able to come back, you realize the world's doing the world shit. That's what the world does. It does world shit. Yet you're often being victimized because you don't realize what power you possess. That's why I hate social justice. Social justice is some bitch ass shit towards incentives. Oh, they don't value me. Why would they value you? Okay, switch shoes with a white man. I just fought this motherfucker over in Russia. Fought this motherfucker in Germany, whipped his ass too. All right, I told the motherfucker from England, get your ass out of here. I got this shit on lock. I went down here, conquered a little bit of this South America, got some of that shit, locked down Puerto Rico, went over to Hawaii and shit, started dancing, decided, fuck it, I want this shit too. You come along and go, hey, you should care about me. What? Why? Why the fuck? You said, what do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna show you how you do it. Cause you might say, no, that seems little, you playing on that edge. Are you a conservative or some shit? No, I'm a realist. When's the last time you went to the homeless dude around the corner and checked in with him and see what he needed and went to bed at night worrying about what he needed? You don't. Because he doesn't incentivize you. If a homeless person right now comes up to you and be like, hey man, you need to wash your car and clean your house up. Do you listen to him same as if your neighbor came to you and say, wash your car, clean up your house? See the difference? It's an incentive game. It ain't personal. Once you understand the incentive game, you understand that, okay, so when you're moving through life, look, man, if you ever go watch the OGs that I grew up under, they were moving respecting incentives. How you spoke to people, how you greeted somebody, how you interacted with people, what you say yes to, what you did not say yes to, why you did what you did. We've gotten so motherfucking logical, rational, common sense thinking ass behavior that we've dumped incentives and then we wonder why nobody fucks with you. Mm-hmm. What's your incentive? Mm-hmm. Why would I fuck with you? Everybody's trying to take care of themselves. No one cares about you. Let me be fair. No one cares about you. I'm looking at everybody. Everybody cares about themselves. A lot of times when you put on a bad outfit, nobody remembers that ugly ass outfit besides you. You haunted, they not. But if you want people to actually show up in your life and have impact or a clap, look, man, I know a partner right now who's running a company where nobody's getting paid and they're working on a big project and and he has all high level people working there. You know how he got them to do it? Incentives. You know why nobody will help you do your homework? Incentives. I know somebody right now who has a beautiful relationship with the people they like. Incentives. You know why you can't find a date on Friday night? Incentives. Shit 100. Y'all think buying women's shit and spending money on women incentivizes them to go out with your ugly ass. No. I got an ugly ass partner right now who don't spend no money. But he understands the principles of incentives. And a lot of times, once you start learning incentives, you'll realize you might think that money creates incentives when sometimes money destroys incentives. Learned that when I was 18 at McDonald's. But see, when I was 18, they wasn't paying minimum wage. Minimum wage back then was, if I told you what minimum wage was back then, that little girl may walk up out of here and say, that's atrocity, right? No, it wasn't even $6. $3.50. $3.50 an hour. $3.50 an hour. That's what she said. She said it was a sharecropping. She had cold motherfucking piece of work. And you know, all right, I'm putting numbers on all you motherfuckers. but what happened was the way we got the employees to work really, really hard was we had to learn the incentive game. When I became a manager at McDonald's, they taught me that, look, you don't have money, but you have to figure out we got to teach you how to incentivize people to work really, really hard. And so once you understand those principles, you realize that a lot of times, sometimes when you pay people, they work less. They're less committed. Sometimes when people do stuff for free, they're more committed. Once you understand incentive game, so incentives is a superpower. We talked about it last week. We got into it last week. But I wanted to share this because I noticed that when I hear people talking like from a tone of a victim, I realize you don't understand how you incentivize people to treat you that way. You know, like you have a big ass party and half the people don't show up, the other half disrespect your party. Ask yourself, how did you incentivize that? You have a business and people come in and they don't wipe their feet. How did you incentivize that? If you got people breaking shit in your space, how did you incentivize that? I need you to take ownership and realize incentives is this invisible superpower that those who build and control understand, and those who are just labor, they kind of miss that. All right? Any questions on incentives before I get into this kind versus wicked learning? Because this is game. I'm going to go through this first part fast, but the second part, if I get to opportunity costs, I'm going to slow the fuck down. Kind and wicked. It just sounds like some old Halloween. I'm surprised they can give me a Halloween picture. Hey, y'all slipping on my pictures and shit. Core pictures be looking real sexy. Kind and wicked could have been funky. But anyway, y'all could even put two kind of, two different parts of my personality. Anyway, but okay, so listen. Kind and wicked. There's this thing called kind learning and wicked learning. And it's the difference between why corporate people who are teaching entrepreneurs can't. Corporate people who teach entrepreneurs can't. You know why? They're kind learners. I'm going to get into what that is in a second. True entrepreneurs are wicked learners. And as we go through this process, I want to show you why every time y'all see a course where they're training entrepreneurs and somebody have jobs, they got employees there who are directing services, they're trash because they're kind learners. They're not bad. They're not good, bad people. They just don't know that there's a difference between kind learning and wicked learning. And some of you guys will come to this class with kind learning expectations because in school you kind of learn, most of the time in most classes in most schools, you're being trained under the umbrella of kind learning. There's not too many schools that train wicked learning. Yes, if you get to the highest level, like say Harvard Business School, you'll learn wicked learning. But for the most part, most people who've had jobs, most commoners, most people who went to public schools have been heavily saturated with the values of kind learning, and most of us don't even know there's a thing called wicked learning. So y'all ready to get into this? All right, so I'm gonna move a little fast on this one. Stop me when you need to. I'm gonna slow down once in a while. I'm gonna go like speed up and go slow and speed up and go slow, but I really want to get to opportunity costs because it's something that it's a major tool in decision making. But this is gonna give you kind of some clarity around some of the bullshit, as well as how you kind of have to think about this. A different paradigm of thought. Because remember I told you that there's one of the things that black people suffer from is that we have hundreds of years of being labor in this country and economic suppression. Don't think about all the cruel things. Just think about economic suppression and being the labor force. So we're stuck in the paradigm of work, like doing a job. But entrepreneur is a builder's paradigm. And so you got to learn how to think totally different. Also, what's been happening in American society in the last 20 years is that 20 years ago, most of the jobs were algorithm jobs. Copy and paste, even corporate America, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Today, I think the ratios flipped and only, I think 70% of the jobs now are heuristic jobs, which is make decisions, figure it out, control your own time, manage yourself. So as people talk about AI coming to take away jobs, we don't realize that those jobs are already disappearing in American society. People are not hiring people just to go copy and paste. And AI is going to destroy most of those algorithm-based jobs, right? No one's saying, man, AI is going to take away my minister. Like, Pastor Chris, you're not going to be replaced by AI no time soon, right? There's certain responsibilities that we have in society that AI is not going to replace anytime soon because it requires heuristics. But algorithm jobs are already dying. So algorithm jobs are prime example of places that you will find kind thinking, where wicked thinking, entrepreneurs who try to engage in kind thinking, they're trash. And you'll see a lot of new entrepreneurs. This is one of the biggest flaws of how they engage kind. They are more kind thinkers versus wicked thinkers. Let's jump into it, Shabisha.
The concepts of kind and wicked learning are often used to describe different types of learning environments and challenges, particularly in the context of decision-making and skill development.
So you at the beginning, so entrepreneurship is about a lot of decision-making. You probably use that tool that's probably the most that tool probably has to be replaced every few months, right? Like, you're constantly upgrading your decision-making tools, right? And of course skill development, because once again, what got you here will never get you here. Keep going.
These forms were popularized by psychologist Robin Hogarth and extend to various fields, including education, business, and psychology.
Next slide. Kind learning.
A kind learning environment provides consistent feedback and relatively predictable patterns, allowing learners to improve their skills through repetition and practice. The characteristics of kind learning environments include clear rules. The rules or expectations are well-defined and consistent. Predictable outcomes. Actions have predictable, repeatable results. Timely feedback. Learners receive accurate feedback quickly, which helps them adjust their behavior. Repetition helps. The more learners practice, the more they improve due to the clear connection between actions and outcomes.
So you guys just heard what she just said. How often have you heard people tie entrepreneurship to those rhythms? I've heard it. People say, practice. Clear, get feedback from people, clear feedback what they say, right? Predictable outcomes. If you just do these 6 steps to success, these outcomes will happen. It's a language you hear everywhere that people are using all the fucking time. Now, this works in corporate America. If you're in corporate America in a corporate job, they design this environment so all the cogs in the wheel can collaborate and things work really, really well, right? You will use kind learning maybe the way you run your company. You just can't think like this. But if you ever join an entrepreneur training program, this is how they talk. Tell me if somebody disagrees, say please, raise your hand. Like, I never seen that stuff in most. Like, if you look at most self-help books, they preach these rules. All 4 of those rules are part of self-help books. That is not how you have to think. This is why hope exists, because that's not a thing. Next slide. Wicked learning.
A wicked learning environment, on the other hand, is far more complex with unclear or changing rules.
So entrepreneurs, our feedback is unclear and rules are always changing. Keep going.
Delayed feedback.
Our feedback is hella delayed. You put this out and be like, okay. Like, remember, Kaja was here last week. He's like, I have a podcast. I'm not getting any feedback. Well, guess what? Welcome to the world of entrepreneurs. We don't get feedback a lot all the time. We're constantly getting feedback, but it's delayed. And sometimes we have to just create a hypothesis of what the feedback is by just reading these kind of unclear signs. Keep going.
And uncertain outcomes.
Meaning we live in uncertainty. Uncertainty it's the water we swim in. Keep going.
This makes learning more challenging and often less linear.
Remember how, think about how often this year I said, this is not linear. People, this is not linear. Linear is thinking, I thought this, so this outcome. Or they did this, and so this happened. Non-linear says, I did this, but this kind of could have happened, and then this happened, and then about 5 different causations came together to produce this one outcome. Or it was a correlation. I'm not sure if it was causation, right? When you realize things are not linear, you realize that when you read about these stories where he did 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 happened, you realize, nah, that's too linear. Or when you're making accusations about people, you might say, well, when this happened, this occurred. That's too linear, bro. That's not how it necessarily works, right? Let's get into like the characteristics of wicked learning.
The characteristics of wicked learning environments include unclear rules. The rules or expectations may change over time or may be difficult to understand.
That's a constant for entrepreneurs. The rules never stay the same. It never stays the same. Corporate America, you guys can get used to rules. Colleges, you get used to rules. Out here in the real field, that shit changes. It changes like the fucking weather. Keep going.
Unpredictable outcomes. The connection between action and outcome is less direct, and outcomes may vary widely.
Keep going.
Delayed or ambiguous feedback. Feedback might be delayed, incomplete, or even misleading, making it harder to learn from mistakes or successes.
So let's take this. Man, you go to this event, everybody loves your product. It's popping. All your friends say it's the greatest shit ever. To only discover that once you take that feedback, you take that same product into a larger market, no one gives a fuck. Doesn't translate, right? Or on one of the podcasts I put out, the guy said, when you start a new business, consider it a bad idea, not a good idea. Don't ever say, I got a good idea. Say, I have a bad idea. He said, because once you say you have a good idea, all it takes is going to your close friend. Like, I'll go to Court and be like, Court, I got this idea. If Court says, man, that sounds good, I'm going to go home and start writing up a business plan. I ain't tested shit. Then I'm going to go out and try to raise some money. I ain't tested shit. Then I may even go put some money on a logo, get a building. I ain't tested shit. To only to realize that I got in the way because I felt a certain kind of way, I automatically figured, since he gave me feedback, hey, now realizing that feedback is always different based on how, like, we're trying to manage this product fit all the time, and we're trying to manage market value all the time. We don't get to come into the market and be like, I got the golden goose, everybody, come buy my shit. So you're going to get all this all over the place feedback. And this is one of the reasons I used to tell Shakina when she first started business, watch your numbers. If you watch your numbers, you'll start seeing, okay, because if you ever watch your numbers, sometimes it just seems like you're not making any progress. And your numbers say you're making great progress. Or you might feel like you're making all the progress in the world and realize you're losing money. So the feedbacks can be so distorted in this game that you got to learn how to live in a world where feedback is always being distorted, and how to, even somebody can come to you and say, I hate your fucking product. But you're serving, let's say there's 7.5 million people in the Bay Area, and 10 people say your product sucks, but you're talking to the wrong 10. But it's your first 10. Or the first 10 people say they love your product, but you realize that market share, the people who actually love your product is such a small group. And let's say they all buy your product, right? But when they repeat purchase your product, that means you go through a hype cycle. You take off and then you die. Distorted feedback. These are things that you have to learn how to read distorted feedback. That's called wicked learning. We move differently. We don't get to say if you do one, then A's will always happen. If you do 2, B will always happen. It doesn't exist in this game we're in. It's really learning how to read the tea leaves and realize that if this changes, then that must gonna change. And if that change, how you gonna survive if that changes, right? Like in the woods have a perfect order, right? Like trees grow at a certain height, mushrooms grow close to the ground. Why? Because it's growing for the decay that's underneath the ground, right? There's all these rules in the wilderness. But if one of those things change because of something that's happening to the ecosystem, that animal needs to be able to read those changes, adjust, and survive. But if you can't read these changes because you're sticking to, well, mushrooms supposed to be here, apple's supposed to be on a tree, then you're following kind learning in a wicked environment. You guys get where I'm going with this? This is why I hate self-help books. You ever heard me say it 1,000 times in class? I fucking hate self-help. Because this shit tries to talk to you in a kind language. It doesn't exist out here. This shit is wicked. This is why you can't go from corporate America and come straight out here. This is why many smart people in corporate America fail, especially become entrepreneurs, because they're using the wrong type of learning to survive in this field. It's a different form of thinking. Number 4.
No clear answers.
Oh, wait, you said no clear answers? Shakina, no clear answers. Yapasua, no clear answers. Ain't that a bitch? No clear answers. Keep going.
In a wicked environment, there may be multiple possible solutions or no obvious right answer, making it difficult to measure progress.
If y'all in this game, once you get in this game, you'll feel that. Am I lying, Court? Matter of fact, that's why I don't worship answers for our truths or strategies or techniques, because there really is no clear answers. Knowing how to think in a wicked form of like the wicked mindset allows you to like navigate this uncertainty where people come from corporate America are so anchored in certainty. They're trying to apply certainty principles to this entrepreneur world. And that's why a lot of fake classes teach with certainty, because that's the biggest pool of customers. I can teach everybody, like, if you just follow these steps and do this, perfect feedback, and it's going to work. And then as long as you practice, you're going to be okay. Just practice. Nah. Next slide. Let's go.
Examples. So entrepreneurship, where market conditions change, customer behavior is unpredictable, and feedback, like financial success, may take time to emerge.
That tells you that's just a sample. All those things are moving at all times. You don't get to have, there's not these clear pillars that if you get from pillar 1, you get to pillar 2, you get to pillar 2, you get to pillar 3. You get to pillar 1, whatever. Let's say you stumble on pillar 1. Pillar 2 is moving like this. And get to pillar 2, don't you think you go just shoot a straight line and get there. It's not a linear game. It's that crazy. And so you can't rely upon, well, what was Steve Jobs done? That's a different pillar system that he was under. Or what Martin Luther King done? That's a different pillar system that he was under. Right? What would this billionaire or what this other group? That's a different pillar system that they're under. How do you get from one pillar to the other pillar? It's because you have to learn how to think in this realm. The problem is that we're trying to think in kind thinking realm and trying to solve wicked problems. We can't. It's not possible. That's why you can read all the self-help books you want and you still suck in business and your bank account is still pushing a couple dollars. Keep going. Next one.
Social and political decision-making, where long-term effects of actions are difficult to predict and the environment can change in unpredictable ways.
10-year plan. Can't do it. Remember I used to say I hate business plans? Because sometimes people would write a business plan with a kind mindset. They thought, if I write a business plan, I know what I'm going to do. Present to the investor, I'm going to follow this plan. Nah. Literally, if you want to write a business plan because there's a procedure to get the investor to have confidence and trust, just know that's all it's for. After the investor gives you money, rip that shit the fuck up and go to work. Because really, once you get started in this game, you can't predict the next 6 months. All kind of shit can happen. Where was COVID in anybody's business plan? Shit. Right? Like, where's your diabetes in the business plan? Where's a new trend just hit and the customers who were buying money on this? Remember, capitalism is a trade-off. Capitalism is a trade-off. You were the hottest thing now, but now this is the hottest shit now. How do you survive in that? What happens when there's a flaw in your industry or somebody performs in a way in your industry that has nothing to do with you that discourages customers from messing with your industry? How do you survive in that? See, this is the real world shit we're talking now. Not that, there's 5 steps of success, or 10, 13 moves of success. Trash. Kill yourself. Stab yourself in the back. Kate, next slide.
In kind environments, learners can often rely on deliberate practice to improve.
So in a kind environment, you could just have deliberate. I'm gonna practice entrepreneurship. I'm come to this class. I'm gonna read my books and shit. And I'm gonna be successful. Keep going.
In wicked environments, however, Success may require more adaptive thinking.
What did you just say there? Did you say? Read that one more time, because I think Scott just came in and he was feeling really good because he just relieved himself. Hit that one again.
In wicked environments, however, success may require more adaptive thinking.
More adaptive thinking. Now you see why you can't trust a man or a woman who say they know the truth? They're not adaptive. This game we're in right now, we have to adapt our thinking all the time. We don't get to just follow the rules no matter, in spite. That's why we have to read the tea leaves and make the decisions. Read the tea leaves and make the decisions. This is why the principles I've been teaching this class, these mental models, they're not meant to be applied like a simple recipe. They're relative to adapting to the environment. You guys hear where I'm going with this? This is so important, because if you keep reading them trashy books, I will see you when I drive by the unemployment line. I'm a wave. I'm a nice person. But you will not have resources. Keep going.
Creativity and flexibility, as learning isn't simply about repeating and perfecting actions.
Ooh. Okay, for more artists that's signed into the class. Read that one more time. You said creativity and what?
Flexibility, as learning isn't simply about repeating and perfecting actions.
Has anyone ever told you about that? How many people right now just keep repeating and practicing shit to perfect their actions, and that is not what we do here. Keep going.
It involves navigating ambiguity.
What?
And making decisions with incomplete information.
Stop. So you mean you can't be perfection? See, this is how somehow we align. So that means you can't be perfect. You can't get it all right. You can't know what to do. You still got to make decisions with imperfect information? See, imperfect motherfuckers making imperfect decisions with imperfect information, still creating an outcome. This is the world we're really in. Not that shit, not that trash. Keep going.
For someone running a business or creating content like your podcast.
Oh, like Kaja, podcast, like your podcast. I thought she was gonna be here, so that little part's for her. Yeah, go ahead.
You might find yourself working more in a wicked learning environment because of the unpredictability of market trends, customer behavior, and other external factors.
So real quick, you know why the customer behaviors to some of you guys is kind of muddy in your vision? Like you think you close your eyes, like you may not really see how truly unpredictable customer behavior really is. You know why you won't see it? Because your ego's too big. You see yourself. You're copy and pasting yourself on all your customers. When you really learn to see customers, you realize this shit changes fast, man. Like if you finally figure a system that's working, you only have a short period of time before it stops working. Because you know what stops it from working? Competition or change of behavior. So you got to constantly be improving and changing and evolving. Otherwise, you will be victimized by change of behavior or competition. And this is such an easy blinding. Like I can't. When you're in corporate America, you don't have to look. When you're in corporate America, you don't have to see the transactions. You don't have to see the market changes. You don't have to see the competition. You see what you do and the competition in your office. When you come out into this corporate world, out to this entrepreneur world, you're on the front line. The bullets are flying over your head now. This shit's gotten real. At first, you was in a room pushing buttons. I got my drone. I'm about to pull the trigger. I'm going to fire on them. I got this under control. You know what, Joe over here, he's always in my way when I'm trying to use my drone. He's always moving shit on my desk. That's about the depth of your arguments. Out here, it's like you're watching bodies drop around you. You're watching people grow. You're watching good people fail, and even some weak people become successful. Because you think it's about this kind learning. This clear path of, you got an A, so that means you should graduate to get a good job, and from a good job, you should buy a house and take care of your family. Entrepreneurs realize that ain't the game we playing. Yeah, we may achieve some of those things, don't get it wrong, but we got there through a different form of thinking, which is called wicked. It's a separation. And it's so common when I hear people from corporate America trying to give me advice. I'm looking at them the whole time like, so you gonna tell Bear how to survive, and the most you ever done was hang out with the Boy Scouts when you were 6, huh? Practice the art or shut the fuck up. Go ahead.
I'm thinking about new college graduates or recent college graduates. So I think about like some of the students from Scripps or whatever who felt really betrayed by the university system because there was an expectation, or at least the story that they get told is that they will have a kind experience in finding their first jobs. And so many people are so angry, and then they share their anger, right? So you're seeing these rates because like that transition from coming out of college to finding your first job is a terror because it doesn't look anything like what you just came out of, nor what they prepared you to be, what they prepared you for, and you find that the market is nothing like that. And for a long time, you know, everybody thought it was the new graduates, that they were entitled, that they were this, that they were that, they were all of these things.
Yeah, trash.
But in fact, what they were doing is sending up a signal saying like, hey, these two environments couldn't be more different. And I spent all of this money and I am clearly not prepared, but the professors and the academic people who work in the college don't live that life. Mm-hmm. They haven't had to find a first job and like come into a new market with new skills.
They can't teach it. They can't. No one's bad. There's no bad actors here. Like it's different. You know, this person.
Right.
There's no bad actors. You can't teach it because you can't see it because it doesn't exist to you yet.
Yeah.
When I first came out here as an entrepreneur, I was trying to make kind thinking or kind learning a thing. And I was getting knocked out every day, nosebleeds, getting up, broke as hell, laying on my couch going, God damn, why am I so broke? And when I had to learn to let go of all that shit and learn wicked, it almost felt like I was giving them, okay, so a lot of times kind learning is attached by your personal value, right? I got A's in school. I've read these amount of books. I followed all the rules. I practiced harder than everybody else. You see how my value is starting to get boosted? Wicked learning goes, fuck all that. Your value's not on trial, and it has nothing to do with it. And you only measure by your outcome. So fuck all that shit you just said. I don't give a fuck how many books you read. Like, I could read more books than you and still lose every battle and every negotiation with you, every opportunity to be presented in front of you. My fear could hit me, and all of a sudden I realized, damn, I didn't even say what I was supposed to say. Because wow, in corporate America, they clean so much shit up. You get fooled into thinking that's how the real world works. It just doesn't. Like social justice is some kind shit. The real world is, how am I responsible for how the fuck you feel? Like if I said the word, like if I just said a too short word right now real loud, right? And then you're like, I'm so offended because you used that word. How? Mm-hmm. How, Sway? How the fuck are you offended? You don't have the ability to like say they ain't got to do with me, or if it's not directly impacting me because you just said it. And then you go to a Warriors game, and then everybody's gonna scream it when that sun come on, and I want to see how you. Oh my God, I can't watch no more of the game. Or you be like, I'm not with that, and just keep watching the game, right? Wicked learning I realize everything in this world is uncertain. This imperfection is just a thing. It just moves like things are not linear. All these principles I've been teaching in class, all these hidden like incentives, all these things I've been teaching, all precatory to emergence to multiply by zero to theory of mind. These principles are my tools to navigate the wild. And trust me, I can go on with all these principles for hours, right? But I developed these tools where when I was in corporate America, I didn't need none of that shit. I didn't need none of those rules. I didn't know those tools. Why do I need these tools for? But when you come out here in a while, you realize, but most CEOs that come here are upper like top management. They have a more relationship with the wild. But if you're like a director and down, you ain't got no relationship with no motherfucking wild. Everything's curated as kind. Let's keep rolling.
We finished this one.
Okay, next slide.
Navigating a wicked learning environment.
So this is how you navigate a wicked learning environment. Keep going.
Requires a different mindset and set of strategies compared to a kind environment where success is more predictable.
So kind environment, success is predictable. As long as I do A, B, and C, I get 1, 2, 3. In a wicked environment, I did A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I ain't got shit. How is this a thing? Keep going.
Since you are involved in business and podcasting, which are prime examples of wicked environments, here are some key strategies to help you thrive.
Kaja, you ain't here. Go ahead. Next slide.
Embrace ambiguity and uncertainty.
So embrace it. That's your thing. Ambiguity and uncertainty, that's just the world you live in. Stop looking for certainty. It doesn't exist. Let me help you out with this. I was a teacher class. I will still teach this class on randomness. You know, life is totally random. Stay with me. Tomorrow is totally random. The human brain is the one that creates these patterns and create these linear lines in random behavior. So when you look back on something in hindsight, a lot of shit fell in place because it was just random. So your brain is the only part, because your brain doesn't like random. It's always trying to create certainty and lines and structure and linear. And all. In business, that's once you realize shit is random. Have you ever heard somebody do a prediction, like, and you're watching everything they're saying and you kind of feel like, yeah, they right, this shit about to be bad. And then some shit just happens and shit goes away. Or vice versa. Things supposed to be really, really good. And then something happens and shit just goes bad. You got to learn how to navigate in a world where you don't have control. That everything is random and ambiguous. Like, you got to be able to. Uncertainty is just the way it works. There is no. If you talk to a lot of mature entrepreneurs, they're talking about what's next because tomorrow's not guaranteed. Even you're like, I'm gonna pass my money on to my kids. I'm gonna do this for my children. Uncertainty says that may not work. Now, can you build systems around that once you realize how random things are? Yes, but you have to accept it first. But most people talk with this tone of that things are certain and that things are going to work a certain kind of way and everything's linear. Embrace it is not. Keep going.
Accept unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked environments often have no clear right or wrong answers. Learn to be comfortable with ambiguity and expect that not everything will be predictable.
There's a sister right now who owns a whiskey company that the dude was Johnny. What was that? What was that liquor? Johnny Walker. So there was a black person who created the liquor, right, for him.
Mm-hmm. Uncle Nearest.
Okay, so it's a black woman who started a company. She's close to being a billionaire.
Jack Daniels or Jim Beam.
Oh, Jack Daniels. So Jack Daniels. Okay, the woman who's about to become a billionaire, I will not post her podcast. She's doing it all wrong and she's successful. She's doing it all wrong and she's working for her. Right? Why would I post her podcast? Because she almost doesn't own how she got there. A lot of lucky things happen, but she tries to articulate it with ownership and it sounds weird. You're like, you don't own this conversation, right? There's going to be people going to make money in this game and don't do everything wrong. There's going to be people going to be broke as hell and did everything right. You got to know that's part of the game you playing. Me and Court knows no matter how smart we are, how many books we read, how much we practice this game, how hard we work, doesn't guarantee nothing. So that means that, watch this. Every year, I take the lower 20% of our earnings every year, and I drop it in a interest-bearing savings account, or I drop it into the market. Why is that? Because that 5 to 10% I'm earning on my money is protecting me from the unpredictable I don't control. I build layers of insulation that I can't, and even with that, still might. Hey, if I catch a disease, that shit could be all gone tomorrow. You see, I'm going with this. Like, once you realize the game you're living in, you move differently. I don't take moments for granted when I see people. Why? Because tomorrow I might not be here. Mm-hmm. I have plans on being here for the next 100 years. I can promise you, it's not gonna happen. But in my mind like, let's do another 100. So, keep going. Next one.
Experimentation over perfection.
Mm-hmm. So wait, real quick. So you just said move away from perfectionism, right? The way you move in a wicked environment, experimentation over perfectionism. Mm-hmm. For that person, if you want to start a business, right? You got an idea, go test it. Test every idea, find ways to Find ways to incorporate testing in your business. If you're not testing more, you're practicing perfectionism. Let me say this again. If you're not testing more, either your ego's out of control or you're practicing perfectionism. Every freaking idea, build the minimal viable product to test your ideas. You just, whatever I just said, this is game, I promise you. If you're not testing more, you have an egotistical business that's out of control. Test, 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 and then test some more. Otherwise, you're making these assumptions, and these assumptions are going to kill you. Keep going. Go and read that one.
Instead of waiting to perfect a strategy, try different approaches and learn from them. Small, low-risk experiments can provide valuable insights without causing significant setbacks.
See, that's small, inexpensive testing. And you can figure different ways out. There's no rule to test. You design the test to have the lowest output. I promise you, most investors, when they sit down with you, they're trying to see how much you tested. And where most people go wrong, they try to tell their story. Now, stories are powerful, but you got to test. Keep going. Next slide.
Iterate quickly and learn from failure.
So that means initiate shit quickly and learn from the failure as fast as possible. Keep going.
Fast feedback loop. In a wicked environment, quick iterations and learning from each attempt are crucial. If a strategy doesn't work, adjust and move forward without waiting for perfect information.
This is how we move in wicked world. We don't look for perfect information. We test, we initiate some stuff. Oh, that shit didn't work. Try some new shit. I have more failures in my backpack than I have successes. You look at my backpack, you be like, where are the successes at? It's at the bottom down there. Just because I tested so much shit that just didn't work. And I just kept it moving. Now, in hindsight, I look amazing. But if you're in the room with me a couple times, you be like, bruh, you gonna do another one, huh? Yep. But Shami used to say, no, why do you always run to a brick wall and then when you get to the wall, you're like, what was that? I move quickly, I test, and then I adjust. I don't sit around and be like, so if I ran into the big wall, would that hurt? I mean, how many bricks is it? What is the space between each brick? What kind of mortar did they use? No, I'm running through it and go, and sometimes I get knocked the fuck down and be like, okay, all right, that shit real. All right, give me that suit. I'm gonna keep trying till I figure some shit out. But also too, I'm managing cost. I'm not ever sliding all my chips in on an idea. I start off by testing my ideas. Now, once I get to a certain point and I have confidence, I might take that risk because risk is part of the game we play, right? But I don't come into the game with a risk I'm ready to take. That shit sounds good on TV. That shit doesn't translate in the real world. It just doesn't. Remember I told you guys, in Oakland, there's 125 different spoken languages. In Oakland. 125 different spoken languages. How the fuck you think you know everybody? You don't. Language means that they have different cultures. That means we have over 125 different cultures in Oakland. So if you're trying to sell products to just folks in Oakland right now, you got 125 different markets. You got to figure out what the fuck they want. How the fuck you became the great one to be like, oh my God, I think my Latino brothers who are actually the original Indian people from this particular region, they want my shit. Trash. Keep going.
Learn from mistakes. Every failure in a wicked environment is an opportunity to learn. Treat these moments as data points that help refine your approach.
All fucking mistakes, all failures are just data points. They're data points for me. All this emotions about, I feel so bad because I failed, or I feel so good because I'm successful. Data point, keep it moving. Data point, keep it moving. You're in a different survival game. You don't get to play corporate game. I'm sorry. This is why when entrepreneurs run to corporate people for comfort, you're getting the wrong comfort. You're getting the wrong comfort. Mm-hmm. Come talk to me for comfort. Watch how it feels. Anybody ever talk to me about business, they realize that you're not getting that kind of comfort.
You don't look very comforting.
I'm not an asshole. I'm not an asshole by entrepreneur standards. I'm an asshole by kind standards. Once you understand wicked versus kind, you realize, oh no, Court won't call me an asshole because he's in the same rhythm as me. So we're talking the same wicked type dialogue, right? Let somebody come in with a job. Ooh, that really. Ooh, no, I don't know. Could you say that different? Oh, I just feel like you lack empathy. You know, can we just become mindful of how you speak? No, fuck you. It's trash. It's trash. Like I cut through the I can see how you're using stories to distort yourself. I ain't got time for that shit's trash. Keep going. Next slide.
Seek diverse perspectives.
Okay, so don't y'all do the DEI. That's what the fuck I just said. Let's jump in this. Go ahead.
Crowdsource ideas. In wicked environments, relying solely on your own insights can be limiting.
So wait, relying solely on what?
Your own insights.
Okay, say that. Listen, those last two words for those who speak Spanish. On what?
Insights.
How many times have you, like, this is a common problem amongst entrepreneurs. Their own insights mean a lot. It don't mean shit to me. That's why I said you could trust a person who's seeking knowledge or you could trust a person who's seeking truth or a person who knows the truth. A person who knows the truth thinks their insight means something. I don't know what half my customers want. Okay, you can start a company, like, I'm hella masculine, right? I like that masculine shit. It makes me a great father. Love this shit. Not painting my nails. Told my daughter we gotta have separation between us. Just things I don't do. Okay. But as I build a company, I'm too masculine to reach my full market. I need other people on my team that can see women, see the different diversity. That's why my diverse staff is important. So it improves my vision on how I see my customer, because I'm not strong enough to see my customer. And on top of that, even when I make my assumptions, that's cool for the barbershop. When it comes time to do business, I got to test my assumptions. This is wicked learning. This is how I have to move. This is how I breathe every fucking day. So when I say certain things and just dismiss certain things, you're like, none of you kind of ask. No, because you're trying to force kind thinking in a wicked environment. You're talking to the wrong dude. Keep going.
Engage with diverse people, other entrepreneurs, industry experts, and even your audience to gain new ideas and perspectives.
That was our me and Court first trip to Seattle. I talked to everybody, bro. Why am I doing that? Because I'm trying to see people. If I just talk to people I'm comfortable with, I'm going to be broke. I got to learn how to see all kind of different people. I got to be able to sit with people that I may have disagreed with in the past and see their, like, where do they sit that makes them this way? Now I ain't talking about mental health people. Don't be hanging out at the mental health hospital talking about I'm trying to work on myself. Okay, I did not say that. You kind of weird. Maybe that's where you need to be too. What I'm suggesting is that when you walking around, talk to people. Otherwise, if you don't talk to people, you don't see people. If you don't see people, often you're only pushing your own ego. You're not responding to the market. Next one.
Collaborate more broadly.
Uh-oh.
Wicked problems often benefit from collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
You might find that teaming up with others who have complementary skills or knowledge help tackle complex challenges more effectively.
So anybody knows about 510 Media? We work with other firms all the time. Not because it's not a competition thing. We grow by collaborations. I'm working with Court on a project right now. I grow from collaborations. Is a benefit to. It's not a gift. It's a benefit. This is what you guys miss. Some of y'all are so caught up in a hero story. You're about to hero yourself to death. Collaborations is a superpower. This is the true meaning. The true meaning of DEI is collaborating with diverse backgrounds. You can all be black in the room, but different backgrounds. Somebody can be a square, somebody a gangster, somebody a Harvard nerd, somebody is a blue collar worker, and the four of us can solve hella problems together. The problem is, can we create the formula for collaboration, right? And so in a sense, in my world, collaboration is like fuel for me. I don't get to. It's not an option for me. I don't get to turn it off. I have to always think about how do I collaborate with others? How do I sit at other people's feet and learn from them as well? Like I'm moving in this space all the time. Once I start thinking I own the knowledge and I'm the grand poopa and I'm running shit, I'm about to be a broke cat. Next slide. Oh no, okay. We did that slide, right? First one. Yeah. Next slide.
Focus on adaptive learning.
Mm-hmm.
Flexibility is key.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike in kind environments where repeated actions yield mastery, wicked environments require you to remain adaptable and fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready to pivot quickly based on changing conditions or new information.
So you remember, if anybody has been around Hope for a long time, Shakita would know this one. I usually have this analogy is that I'm like water running down a hill full of rocks. I'm going to get to the bottom. I'm making all kind of adjustments and changes, right? Some of you guys are trying to get linear, and the problem is that when you hit your first obstacle, it's a conversation. I'm already pivoting. I'm already on to the next one, right? That's what this is about, flexibility, knowing how to always constantly adjust, not be overcommitted to a destination or a plan or a goal. If you start on that path and this plan says that shit ain't gonna work, how do you pivot and still make progress in the direction you're trying to go in? See the difference? That is not a thing in the kind world. Keep going.
Lifelong learning.
Oh my God, this is everything. Go ahead.
Continually upgrade your skills and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Staying current with trends, tools, and insights helps you respond more effectively to the dynamic nature of a wicked environment.
I was just telling Court, you know the hardest thing about my new position for 5 team has been my position for the last two or 3 years. My position is not the everyday grind. All my life, I measure myself by the grind. I put in all these hours. I'm working on this tool. I'm in there making stuff happen. My job is to make about 4 powerful decisions a year that will help the company pivot, adjust, and maneuver in a strategical direction. You know how hard that is for me? Because at first, my feedback was, you grind really, really hard. You see the outcome of your work. Hard work, good job. Now it's read, learn, see where you're going, figure out where you're going. Look at the competition. Look at what's happening in the market. Watch the trends. Go have conversations with people who are, this is entrepreneur language here. This is a big thing. I'm gonna let you say, this is a huge thing that once you get to this stage, this is a transition stage of, because the first stage is stop doing the frontline work. The next stage is accept your new role. And now you're a navigator. And so it doesn't look as exhausting as your previous role, but it's just, if it's more critical, let me tell you why. If you don't adapt this lifelong learning, you can have your company start working a certain way that was working, but the market just shifted, right? And they'll work themselves right off the cliff and die. They are hard workers, all smart people, but they don't see the changes in the market. And so they just do this, fall over and kill themselves. Somebody has to be able to say, hey, I know quarter's coming up. Start turning to the right, start turning to the left. We got to adjust this, got to change this. Our product is out of alignment with this new market trend. Hey, we want to reach this new potential opportunities. Here's some adjustments or these upgrades we need to do to our system to get to these new potentials. If you don't have somebody saying that, they will literally see the internal staff, including you, will see a new potential and then double down on the way you've been doing things to only fail to competition. Mm-hmm. Y'all see what the fuck I just told you? This is major game that once you really become an entrepreneur, you realize if you constantly stay on the front line, you are betraying your company because you're not allowing them to make the necessary upgrades to their software to navigate the new terrains. Y'all get that game? I promise you that's the coldest game I probably ever gave you. And you won't see it until that time comes. Up to that point, you'll be basking in your glory of hard work and pushing out papers and sending out emails and doing your skill-based area and participating and running to this station, helping things out, not realizing that you're busting your ass and you're drowning. You're drowning, or you're going quickly in the wrong direction. Somebody has to say, all right, y'all keep the grind going. I'm going to figure out where we're going. And your job is to learn so much because your insights, you can't see, you're in a wicked environment. Your job is to learn so fucking much, you can make that call and say, hey guys, let's pivot. It's time to pivot. They look at you like, why? Why are we pivoting? It's been working all this time. The past does not inform me of the future strategy. So over leveraging the past is a failure. And guess why your staff's going to over leverage the past? Because the past is where their value exists. All their value is tied up in the past. Their value is not tied up in the future. Oh, you know what's the future for all your kind workers? Is fear, uncertainty. But you got to be in that space sitting there figuring out, where in the fuck we going? Because it's easy to think, if as long as I'm the best photographer, the best this, best that, the market's going to keep just yielding me rewards. It doesn't. It fucking doesn't. It literally doesn't. Somebody has to say, okay, I know we're doing these different things. Time for a tweak. If we don't create that tweak, there's a new company right behind us and a stronger company right in front of us that will consume our space because we didn't make that adjustment. Or the customer just says, hey, OG, your shit's old school. Just that simple. I get cats sending me music all the time, dudes who are like 40s still rapping. Y'all heard like LL Cool J album, trash. No offense, LL, if you watch this, sorry, bro. You've been my favorite artist since day one. You're one of my top 5. However, you too old, bro. You sound like an old dude rapping. They don't rap like that no more, bro. They don't. You're making my blood pressure go up. It's not working for me. But if LL was able to adjust, like Jay-Z is still close enough to be able to make adjustments. That's why when Jay-Z gets on the album, you're like, damn, he still got it. But if Jay-Z rapped like 8 years ago, you'd be like, wrap it up. Get to the point. Go listen to hip hop from the 90s. Bring back Chuck D and modern day or Ice Cube and watch you be like, ooh, turn that down. Nerves are bad. Because they didn't adjust to the market. It's not that they're not talented. These are the most talented people of their era. But if they want to stay in the industry, they have to be able to adjust and become Dr. Dre's. Or become a producer, something. Adjust. Now, respect to Ice Cube because that's a bad man. Like he's doing amazing work and all this stuff. Even Snoop Dogg, look at Snoop Dogg. He's adjusted, right? Adjust. I even heard the dude from South. He used to be a part of Ghetto Boys. That's been
Scarface?
Huh?
Scarface,
right? Y'all see his tiny desk?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's adjustments. He didn't try to do the Zach of the era. He almost turned his music into like a R&B, hip hop, and you saw his you're like, damn, this boy's nice, right? Adjusting. But that artist who tried to get on and do the Zach thing they did back in the days, like that's why a lot of Wu-Tang coming back. You'd be like, turn it down. Not there. You haven't made the adjustment. You're stuck in that era. The market is always changing. Just like I change in entertainment, I don't give a fuck what industry you in, it's changing like this. Hold on to that old style if you want to. And so ultimately, at some point, you got to move from the actual day-to-day labor and be able to navigate the actual industry you're in.
What's coming up in my head is, so the question that's coming up too, first one I want to ask you is, when you went to the place of like, not the day-to-day, you're going to make 4 strong decisions a year. Did you also have to make similar adjustments, maybe not similar, did you also make adjustments in your personal life? Like what were
Everything
you thinking?
Changes. Yeah, everything changes. So now,
what were those?
So
Like
here's the
what-
funny part.
What switched there?
So my health becomes even more important. Mm-hmm. Because if my health is compromised, I can't show up to that role, right? I create a different balance in my life, different group of rules. Also tell people that my invisible quiet time is valuable time now. See, when you labor force, you quiet, that means, well, you got some open time. Let me talk to you. My family gets offended sometimes. We're like, hey, stop talking to me for a little while. Stop. Leave me alone. I know I'm walking around the house, but leave me the fuck alone. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go outside and walk around. But leave me alone because I'm actually processing so I can make that decision and I'm building something, right? And sometimes you'll see, if you ever look at some of my notes, it seems like I'm all over the place until I land. Because I'm actually going through my process of like, well, what? No, but yeah. No, okay, need more observation. Okay, let me talk to some more people. Let me pull in more data. And then that's why I like ChatGPT, because I can pull larger sample sizes of things I'm trying to analyze, right? But no one values that if they're in a kind environment. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Like, well, why can't you go do some work? I am doing work. Because if I stop doing this, you'll know the difference. You'll know the difference. Like teaching this class is allowing me to also to like process, because as I process to take the complex principles I'm trying to simplify to transfer so you guys can use it right away, it's giving me more ownership as I work on my problems. You guys get one with that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Somebody pass in Q a microphone real quick. Pass it back behind you. There you go. Go 1, 2, there you go. We can do some linear shit here. There you go. One more. There you go. Pass it. Turn it on to make sure the light's green. There you go. Go for it.
I have a good question. So when it came to 2020 when the pandemic hit, and like, is there anything specifically you can point to? Because that for your shift specifically that you needed to make or that you made during that time in 2020?
So first of all, before before pandemic even hit, I assumed that something was going to happen. So when the pandemic hit, I already had 2 years of runway. That's not a pandemic. Do something, right? I'm moving with that. So it's saying that tomorrow ain't guaranteed. Yeah, we make a lot of money, but what if the shit just stops for whatever reason? I got 2 years to make adjustments. So that's number one. Number two is I also diversified my clients. So I didn't have one pipeline. I knew that was a death sentence, right? So I had diversity. So when the pandemic hit, I had a little bit popping from all my clients in different ways. And because I had a certain amount of government and city type clients, they were actually panicking, going, we need to put information out there. So we was in a strategical role to drive some of that to get some of the calls. 3, I had employees that were going, I started seeing signs of depression. So at the time, Mashama had just had a new baby, so he really couldn't be at the office. I was trying to keep all the employees moving and getting some money in their pocket so depression would settle in. I lose all my staff, which would kill me, right? So the whole time I'm making all these adaptable decisions and I made so many adaptable decisions, bro, it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The only thing that I regret, I gained probably 30, 40 pounds. Because I was so busy. And I said to myself, close to the end of the pandemic, yo, this is not acceptable. And I even said in class, I was like, yo, I'm getting too fat. No, I'm over this shit. And that was how I announced to everybody, I'm going to change my lifestyle and rebuild my body. And let me tell you why that's important. I'm 57. After 50 years of age, or 51, 52, depends on how you fucking biologically designed, you don't go down the slide no more. You fall off the fucking gravity-enhanced cliff. You fall so fucking fast. It is like in 3 months, the acceleration of your fall is so cold. And I'm talking about, I picked up an old man body that fast. I'm talking about, I touched somebody, I was like, what the fuck is this? Right? Is this, I'm not supposed to have a chest that looks for gold because it's sagging. Right? No, it's not supposed to look like that, right? I used to tell women that with the chest pointed to the ground, those metal detectors. Anyway, point is this. So everything was just sagging for no reason. In months. Yeah, no, it was a pause. And you should, if you saw me in the mirror, you wouldn't even pause me. You would just put a blanket on me. So point is this. And so I had to literally go back to the gym, hurt like a motherfucker from just months of, I think maybe a year. It felt like months, but about a year of not working out. So, and in my age group, I can't afford not to work out unless I want to be walking around like, my bad shoulder. So I made so many personal adjustments, business adjustments, family adjustments that were crazy. But guess what? I didn't feel uncomfortable in that space. It was just another day at the office for me. I didn't realize, okay, the trees are not blooming like they do usually, but where else should I get my food from? And I moved like that. You would watch me, even in class, if you sat through my class during COVID, I was telling folks, yo, this is exaggerated. And everything I suggested in class, go back and look at the classes during COVID, all that shit scientists came back and said, yeah, that's what it was. Because I was reading the numbers the whole time, and the way the news was reporting it and where the numbers were showing up, it was a big contrast. So I stuck to the numbers. I was watching the COVID numbers, the rate of his growth, understood the exponential growth, and I was watching all these details, making calls. And even how my staff showed up, making calls, making adjustments, and pretty much went through it pretty fucking well. My daughter was born during COVID. To this day, my daughter is 6 years of age. We could be somewhere, she'd be like, whew, I'm enough of this place. We need to go back home. She's 6. Who does this? 2 hours. She'd be like, ooh, this party is just enough. I need to go back home. I'm tired. Let's just go back home. I'm ready to go home. She's a COVID child, so home became her like, that's what I do. All right, next one. Next slide.
Your podcast
Kaja.
may need to evolve as your audience grows. Staying flexible in terms of format, style, and content will help you keep engaging with your listeners.
So I'm going to talk to Court later on, and we have to brainstorm this. I want to change some of our personal format. We're too rigid. We need to become more flexible, right? For this class, right? Because I created this class. I will throw this goddamn bottle at you. He did not just pause me. But anyways, but the thing is that I hate you so much. Right now. I swear to God. I swear to God. But staying flexible on how you design your business and how you engage your customers, your listeners. All right, just if any kind of business you have, do not fall in love with the way you're doing business. Fall in love with business. Don't fall in love with the way you're doing business. Fall in love with business. That means sometimes you may adjust in ways you don't like, but it works. It works. Your original idea, like, I'll make these cupcakes, gonna make these passion fruit, gonna pop off, gonna have all these customers. And then all of a sudden you realize customers actually like chocolate more because you sold this one time. But you don't like making chocolate cupcakes, so maybe whatever. But instead of you trying to learn the new business idea, you'll double down and put some M&Ms on top of your passion fruit. Bruh. Bruh.
Bruh.
Okay, next slide.
Look for patterns, but don't over-rely on them.
Keep going.
Recognize trends. While wicked environments are unpredictable, patterns can still emerge over time. Be aware of them, but cautious of overgeneralizing them, as circumstances can shift quickly.
So you don't so in our African American culture, especially those of us who are suffering from, once again, historical suppression and historical labor force, we over leverage patterns. There will be patterns, but even if you do discover a pattern, it just might be a pattern of the moment. So you got to learn how to see the patterns when they're revealed to you. But don't over leverage patterns, because patterns is your desire to move in a kind way. Keep going.
Avoid confirmation bias. Just because something worked once doesn't mean it will work again. Always remain open to the possibility that your previous conclusions may need to change.
There you go. Keep going. Next slide.
Example, in business, if a marketing campaign drives success once, that doesn't guarantee the same success next time.
So let's say you run a campaign on social media or the web or whatever, and it pops. Don't mean it's gonna pop again. This is why I promise you, as an entrepreneur, you gotta learn how to move. Know that this is a thing. Doesn't mean that you don't try it again. Just know this is a thing. Don't say, you know what? I don't understand why people don't show up. We do the same thing we did last time. That's because you're from a kind environment and you're used to rinse and repeat. In this world I'm in, may not work again. You can almost see the dulling, like the computer just went out tonight, right? It just told me, don't you come back here next week with that same goddamn computer. Right? But some of y'all like continue, well, it came back up. Let's just try it one more time. No, that was a warning shot. The computer gave me a warning shot. Bow! I just went down on you. What you gonna do, player? If I show up next week and be like, that's the best Paul you got me on. That's solid. That was hey. That's a good pause there. Now look here. Yeah, that was crazy. That was wild. Oh, yeah, that's wild. That was wild.
He said, hey.
All right, reverse that one. Reverse. Now, hey.
Watch
Yeah. So be ready to adjust and innovate in even seemingly familiar situations. To stop assuming that just because you did one job with a certain type of client, it's going to work again and again and again. Even the clients are exactly the same profile, be prepared to adjust. Keep going.
Be ready to adjust and innovate, even in seemingly familiar situations.
There you go, at all time. Go ahead. Next slide. Now, mind you, this is how we think. So you see, it's not just one way. Can you guys start to see that this is a different paradigm of thought? This is normal to me. This list is like 10 and 15 different things, but it doesn't make me go like, "Ooh, there's a lot of stuff." Like this, we learned this through the journey. This is how we have to move. Go ahead.
Use data strategically. Collect data, but don't wait for perfection. Gathering data is essential in wicked environments, but don't wait for complete information before acting. The key is to make decisions with the best information available at the moment.
So, some of y'all are not even collecting data. Let me just be straight up on this. Are you reading the market? Are you looking at, that's why when I talked to you about AI last week, about how using AI as a partner, AI can start to help you build a relationship with data. And then you start realizing, oh, damn, data is a beautiful tool. And in this modern day AI tool, it's giving us a more robust relationship with data, but also even then and even still, we can't 100% rely upon data. Sometimes we have to just make the call because, a lot of times African-American people, you're not in the data. You're
At all.
Yeah,
At all.
come on.
At all.
So you got 41 or 40-something million, 40+ million people, black folks, that's a huge market. That's a billionaire. You're a billionaire if you tap that market, right? They spend over $1 trillion a year. Not part of the data.
Yeah.
So when can you make that call? And when do you look at the data? These are important things. You learn to navigate that dance. Keep going.
Track progress continuously.
So wait a minute. What? Track what?
Progress
Know your what?
numbers.
There you go. If you don't know your numbers, you can't track your progress continually. Keep going.
Instead of waiting for a final outcome, monitor ongoing results. This allows you to adjust strategies in real time, which is crucial when conditions change rapidly.
If you track your numbers, it's not as rapid as you think it is. When you don't track your numbers, it feels like it just happened overnight. If you watch your numbers will usually tell you something's going different, something's changing. Something's changing. There'll be a subtlety, you can see subtle adjustments, and you'll start pulling levers like, okay, let me just pull these emergency levers just in case things are changing. Or let me start making this adjustment, let me pull back here, let me adjust this here. And if things start to accelerate changes, you already start positioning your strategical moves, right? But if you're not watching your numbers, when you make your change? It's when you show up to work the next day and the pond is gone, or the river's empty. And you're like, what happened? The river's been decreasing for months. The pond, there's no birds in your pond. There's no even fish in your pond. You should have knew something was wrong, but you never watched the numbers. This is the world you gotta live in if you want to do this business shit. Now if you want to do this job shit, you don't want to look at the pond. You don't want to worry about none of this shit. Don't want to care about ambiguity. You want to be able to make decisions based upon what worked yesterday. You want guarantees. You want shit to be linear. Go back and get that job. Tell your boss you're sorry. But if you want to come in this world, this is shit we got to deal with every fucking day. And if an entrepreneur comes to talk to me and they miss one of these categories, I'm like, go back and fix one of these categories, bro. Are you testing? What's I saying you test your shit out? Well, I didn't test it. What I thought was, all right, get back to me later because I don't give a fuck about your thoughts. Keep going. Next slide.
Emphasize agility and resilience.
What?
Emphasize agility and resilience.
So what's that book he teaching?
Emotional agility.
Did he just tell you that if you don't understand this book, you can't get to the shit I'm about to teach you? Keep going.
Stay agile. Agility means being able to quickly adapt to changing circumstances.
COVID and all the other shits you're going to deal with. And trust me, it's more than COVID. COVID is just one of the number of things you're going to deal with as an entrepreneur. You always adjusting. Almost every fucking week, there's some new shit. But every week when I walk into the office, there's always some new shit waiting on me. I don't get to say, last week went perfect. Another perfect week. Ding. No. I know you come in the office and be like, what happened? Okay. What the fuck's going on? Okay. This ain't working. Okay. These customers change? Okay. They want some new shit? Okay. They didn't pay yet? Okay. And guess what? I make decisions. But I'm so agile, you would never know all the decisions I'm making every week. Because guess what? This is what I do. It's like when I first started doing it, this shit would in a week. I didn't do drugs or drink, but I was considering that shit. It was so exhausting, right? Then over time, I got used to it. Sometimes the best way to get through something is just go through it. Trying to go around it, avoid it, hiring somebody to give you mental support. Just go through the shit. And me going through this shit, this is like, it's like walking down the street to me. Keep going.
Did I read stay agile?
Stay agile.
Stay agile. Agility means being able to quickly adapt.
You already read that one.
I did that, right?
Yeah.
Build resilience. Wicked environments often involve setbacks and failures.
Come on.
Resilience helps you maintain momentum.
Oh, wait, hack what? What did I say hack earlier?
Consistency.
If y'all hang around me, I promise you this shit is it's 1-to-1 for me. And I'm trying to get you, that's why I'm teaching this class a certain kind of way. And often the friction I feel in this class is kind learners going, but too much. Remember the elephant in the room that he talked about last week? Mm-hmm. That's the kind thinkers. Shouldn't be like that. Lack of responsibility? No. These things you ask me, work out every week? No. Wicked learners like, I can get back to the motherfucking gym tripping. You see the difference? There really is a difference between the way I see the world and motherfuckers who got jobs or just graduated from college. It's not the same thing. Our professors at college, most of these entrepreneur programs, and that's why I hate this shit so bad, because they come to black folks and they exploit you with that kind talk, and you swear to God this person is the guru, not realizing you still ain't made no more money. If anything, you spent more money. Keep going. Failure and keep moving forward without being discouraged. Okay, read that resilience last sentence.
Resilience helps you maintain momentum, learn from failures, and keep moving forward without being discouraged.
So you hear people like, yeah, I've been doing this entrepreneur stuff. I'm trying to it seems so hard. I'm being discouraged. I don't know how to comfort you, bro. I can't help you. I don't rub backs. Pause. Keep going. Yeah, go ahead.
So after looking at this whole list, I got a question.
Well,
It's probably a simple answer. Mm-hmm. Is 510 Media just teaching large organizations to be entrepreneurs? Is that the work we're doing?
No, and when I conclude this class, I'll tell you what I'm gonna put in the context of class. Good question.
Thank you.
But make sure I'm gonna come back to that in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, keep going. Next slide.
With your new business, staying open to pivoting.
So pivoting is a thing we do all the time. You're gonna pivot a lot. All this, I want to go from here to here, and that's what I'm planning on doing. You pivot. You just be prepared on a perfect day with a perfect plan, with perfect birds singing and perfect clouds. You're gonna have to pivot. That's just how it happens. And if you get sensitive about pivoting, wrong type of thinking. Go ahead.
Whether it's offering new services or changing how you engage clients, will help you remain relevant and competitive.
Because competitive means that you're aligning to new customer needs. You don't get a chance to engage a client and do it the way you want to do it. You'll kill yourself competitive-wise. Because what competition will say is, if she won't do it, I will. Mm-hmm. You understand me? Mm-hmm. I love her for that. Anyway, let's go on. Let's stay focused. No reason to be on my past. Anyway, go ahead.
Leverage long-term thinking.
Uh-huh.
Focus on sustainable strategies.
Okay, so first of all, let me slow this one down. Leverage long-term thinking. You know, this quick get rich quick, impatience, why can I be successful? I'm about to be where you at tomorrow. When Court said that earlier, he said a lot of cats come up to him and say, why can't I be where you at tomorrow? Or I want to be where he said, come on, cuz. Right? Cuz. When he said that, I was like, damn, that boy is straight up Oakland. Come on, cuz. But when he said, come on, cuz, what he suggested is that this game you playing is really the long-term game. You're not playing a short-term game. And short-term will get, remember what I said last week? Impatience creates hoes, or impatience creates prostitutes. Because you'll make bad decisions because you're impatient. This game you in, when you play in the long term, that means also when you think about your strategy, what would it take for you to be here 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? Have you seen corporations, investors come into a new company, and they push them to drive the bottom line, the profit, and they destroy the company because they stop designing the company for the long term, staying around, and they just get the bag, but within 4 or 5 years, they're gone. Right? When you're running a business, sometimes making a quick hit is a bad move, right? Now, sometimes you just make the hit because it makes sense. But sometimes taking the money or making the fast decision will destroy you. Literally destroy you. Take weight loss, right? Do the quick shit. You still got to live some more years, right? Yeah, you may lose the weight next year. Can you maintain that for the next 20, 30 years?
I was
Go ahead.
watching this documentary about bodybuilders and how professional bodybuilders, they have the highest death rate because their hearts double up in size and the competition takes steroids. And you
Gee
look
whiz.
good, you look amazing, but doing that shortcut shit, bodybuilders die the most.
Hands down. Even think about this. When you train for a long life, or you train to be here for a long time, it's a different mindset of training. You're working out differently. Different incentives, different everything, right? But if I'm getting ready for the summer, what happens when I get there? Let's say you training just to lose weight. You say, I'm gonna train to get down to 100, I'm 180, I'm gonna get down to, did you turn me up or something? It's like I'm louder or something. But you say, let's say you train me from 180 to get to from 180 to 150, right? And because that was your focus, the short-term goal, where's the motivation after you hit 150? You're going back to 200 next time. Because it's going to be hard to maintain all the shit you did, all the rigidity that you engaged in, all the personal psychological beating up of yourself, as opposed to what about you plan on a long-term change of eating that yields you results that happens to lose 20 or 30 pounds. See the difference? That means you're trying to adapt a new way to eat, not I'm trying to short-term eat this way to lose weight so I can get down to a certain size. You see the difference? I promise you one style is going to fail you every time. If you run your staff for short-term goals over long-term goals, you may even abuse your staff in management. Like there's so many flaws in long-term versus short-term that once you master the difference of those, you realize, oh, this is a thing. That's why when people talk a lot of times, a lot of people on the streets talk short-term talk. Now, what can I do to be an entrepreneur tomorrow? I don't know. Pray. That's what I got for you. Pray. You tell me. I don't fucking tell you nothing. Keep going. Go ahead. Read it. Did you read
Focus on sustainable strategies. Since wicked environments often have delayed outcomes,
Delayed outcomes. Keep going.
don't get overly fixated on short-term results.
Do not, hype cycle, do not get fixated on short-term results. If you popping this year, put your head down, pause, and go to work. Pause. I know some people right now, they got $20, $30 million because of COVID. A lot of black folks popped off during COVID, right? They got all that cash. And they got fixated and thought their business idea is a great business idea. The lady with the whiskey company, I love she's doing this great, right? Doing really, really good. I'm just concerned about this one here. This is what makes my alarms go off. Like you got to put your head down. I'm not doing any views right now. I'm in some wicked ground, wicked spaces. I got to figure out how to navigate this shit because just because I had this huge growth because of all these things fell in the right place doesn't mean the market's going to continue to buy my shit 10, 20 years from now. Also, am I really paying attention to the product fit, market to product fit? Like I'm paying attention to product alignment, right? Meaning that am I doing taste tests and really make sure that I'm getting this taste just right to my market desire? There's a balance between cost of production, cold packing, all the production and all that stuff, logistics, and quality of taste, and getting that just right, and getting to where, and then also too, let's say my generation loves your whiskey. Does the Gen Z like your whiskey? Because that means that 20 years from, like 10 years from now, because I might say 10 years from now, my generation might be like, we can't drink it because of health problems, or if we drink it a lot less. Is the next generation that's coming behind me going to have the same relationship to your alcohol? And if you're not constantly testing and driving that conversation, your success may be temporary. Short term versus long term. Keep going.
Instead, balance immediate actions with a long-term vision.
Balance immediate action with long-term vision. You have to have a long-term. Where are you going with this? What are you in business for? If you're here to just make money, you're just a short-term thinker. I'm just trying to get paid so I can feel better about my life. You're all short-term. You're trash. You're literally trash because you're going to be vulnerable to a big shift. Long-term thinkers are taking that's even part, there's a pre-mortem where they constantly sitting down going, what could possibly go wrong because they're playing the long game. But when you play the short game, you're just constantly talking about, when we did this, we just popped off this. And then when somebody tries to give you advice, you can't hear shit because you're stuck in the short-term thinking. Next one.
Cultivate patience. Outcomes may take time to materialize, so be patient but diligent in measuring progress.
So what you say, being what?
diligent.
So be cultivate what?
Patient.
Cultivate. You know, they're not. So I know. So all the ones who are prostituted because they didn't have patience, it's not might be for you because you're just waiting to be prostituted again. But for those of us who want to live normal, healthy financial lives, outcome may take time to materialize. So be patient but diligent in measuring progress. Trust in your process and remain consistent. Heck, what? In your efforts. Meaning that if you don't have consistency, your impatience will actually undermine your outcome. Damn. And you thought none of us was talking shit.
It's actually kind of encouraging because I don't know because what is. You could be on to something, but you got to stay in the game long enough to make it happen. It doesn't mean that you off.
Can I just have one little part right there?
Yeah.
Let me help you out with my workout. Consistent since I made that announcement. But actually consistent most of my life, except when I fell off because of COVID, right? When you're consistent, don't think you're doing the same thing. You're tweaking. Mm-hmm. You're going down the same road. Like when I first started working out, I was working out at Shakina's gym because she kindly was one of the few, she had her own gym. So she said, well, Nana, if you need to work out, when I first made the announcement, you go to her gym. I was so weak, I had to work out with bands. Any dude knows what I'm talking about? That's some shit, right? There was some times between her and Shamara, who do my stretch. I used to tell Shamara, you can't be telling my friends about this shit. This is just feeling really kind of awkward for me, right? But I was so out of shape but one thing I knew is that I wasn't worried about how bad I felt. When I first started working out, everything was hurting. My shoulder was bad, my knees was bad, my back was bad, my attitude was bad, everything was bad. Right? Because I didn't understand why I was doing all this pain every day. This is no exaggeration, people. Stay at home, listen to me. I would take an aspirin every night before I went to bed because I was hurting so bad. So mind you, think about this. You're working out, going to the gym. Like right now, you know what I'm saying? I'm good. I'm so loving myself. I'm good. But at the time, I wasn't. So imagine going to the gym every night and you're taking an aspirin because you're hurting so bad. Hours after the workout, not like right after the workout. I'm talking about I can't sleep because everything hurting. Oh, shit. I ain't never experienced this a day of my life. I've always been athletic. All of a sudden, I'm living in bed and my brain is telling me, bro, you old now. Just get used to that shit. It's just what it is, player. But every once in a while I see a 70-year-old talking about, you go running. You doing marathons? Mm-hmm. Another 70-year-old, you bench pressing 315 3 times? You 74? Mm-hmm. No, something's off. I'm 52. How the fuck I'm at? Me, Shakira's father. My wife's father says, I watch Athleta X online, and look at me. I'm going jogging now. I'm like, oh, man, you 70. How the fuck you going to flex on me in the 70s? I'm in 52. I'm feeling some kind of way, right? Realize my mind is fucking with me. So I had to hack consistency. So I keep going. My mind's telling me every day, this is a lost cause, bruh. Them knees been gone a long time ago. The first time I squatted, it was a bar, and I was screaming, ah! Woo, this hurts. Come to the gym, watch me now. I put 315, go completely to the floor at 57. My doctor said, I don't even know how the fuck you do this. You know how I got there? As I stayed consistent, I continued to tweak certain things, bought certain shoes that gave me better posture and form, right? I would train a muscle, but I was staying consistent. I started off I couldn't do bar dips because my shoulders were so bad, so I got on a machine to the point that now I could do bar dips and talk to you, right? I couldn't go running. I told myself I'd never run again. My daughter had failed in the backyard, and I went to go run to her, and my brain took off. My body was saying, hold up, right? Now I could run. I was able to recover. I don't take aspirin when I go to bed no more. I don't have ankle joint. I don't have a joint on my body that hurts. I don't have no weaknesses. You work at the gym, I'm doing pull-ups, bar dips, bench pressing, and mind you, I'm heavyweight, so I'm a big dog. I don't do the little 45, 46. No. That's what your girlfriend sound like. But no. Sorry to tell you.
Fatality.
Come for me. You won't. Look, pause, yeah. So, but the point is this.
Rough room.
Hey,
boy.
what? Hey, this is. So, but the point is that I lift heavy iron, but it was a 3-year journey to get to where I am today, right? And I've been there now for like a year and a half. And then on that journey, because of consistency, I realized my dieting wasn't supporting my workout. So then I had to cut out all added sugar, right? Then I had to cut out all added sugar. I'm showing y'all consistency. I'm still consistent, but now my consistency is now putting more pressure on my dieting, where if I wasn't consistent, dieting would have been outside of my focus. You see where the consistency matters? So now, when I first started going no added sugar, my first thing I was drinking all the artificial Cokes and drinks all the time. So my mother-in-law came at me and snobbed me for it. But she realized that onboarded me to where now I'm drinking most of the time this tea, this green tea with mint and lemon, right? That's my shit. But I had a consistency allowed me to evolve past all of these patterns. You see where I'm going with this? So consistency, if you take away the linear idea of it and realize consistency creates a ramp of changes that even though it's a consistent goal, but remember, I'm navigating around all the different, I'm pivoting, and I'm growing and I'm learning, and I'm changing, I'm adjusting. So consistency allowed me to evolve. What happens is when you're not consistent, you're actually starting at level A every time, level A every time, level A every time, level A every time. So 5 years from now, you had many workouts where you sweated your ass off and you still haven't lost any weight because you haven't been consistency. Consistency forces you to pivot, grow, change, and evolve the workout. That's where Kind sees consistency as a linear line. Wicked realizes consistency is a whole bunch of adaptational changes. You see the difference? Huge difference.
Can I get him? Yo, it's
Turn him a little louder.
That's such a powerful point, because a lot of times people will start working on shit and they get some consistency and they're not getting the results they want, and then they quit because they're like, I'm working so hard. I might as well just do what I'm doing. When you got to continue to tweak within the consistency.
That's it. That's the wicked versus kind. Kind consistency is trying to do the same thing every day, expecting different results. Wicked consistency is realize that I'm going from point, I'm trying to get to the foreign land, but I realize I may have to take the desert, I might have to swim, I might get on a plane. I don't know if I'm gonna get there, but whatever it takes, every day I'm gonna make progress. And that consistency is what informs the tweaks, the adjustments, and the progress. It becomes this almost like a decoding process. The consistency opens up a new level of decoding. But if you're kind, you don't even see the codes written on the wall. You reward yourself because at least I did the same thing every day. You see the difference between kind and wicked? Wicked is a cold game. So everything I'm talking about, that's where the tweak is different, because my consistency is not linear, but it's consistent. The idea of consistency is linear, but in that journey is multiple layers of lessons and discoveries and adjustments and tweaks and adjustments to the point that it may look like I'm just going like a straight line. But what you don't see in the day-to-day management of it is all these adjustments I'm making to make that line possible. You get where I'm going with that? So this is what I'm trying to separate that too, because I think a lot of the translations when I'm talking is trying to fit wicked thinking into a kind box. It's not the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's not the same thing. So it says, okay, cultivate patience. Go ahead.
We finished that one.
No, we started, I think, materialize to be patient, be diligent in measuring progress.
Trust in your process and remain consistent in your efforts.
So yeah, okay, we did. So Court just said that, trust. Like if you see, Court is priming. If we don't understand the portion of class Court is teaching, you're going to distort all this. You won't even see those words and why they're where they're ranked in the conversation. Right, I'm ranking it and I'm bringing it to your attention, but Court is showing you that when you read that sentence, you go, "Oh, trust, okay, consistency, okay." You'll start to see it, right? But if you're looking at Court as trying to fix, some of you guys are stuck in trauma loops. Oh my trauma, right? You're in trauma loops. So when you hear trauma, you guys go to like, "Oh, I'm being informed. Oh, help me. Oh God." That's not what the fuck we're doing here. I told some people in my house lately, fuck your trauma. I don't give a flying shit about your trauma. And you should take on the same attitude I have. Because you can't move because you're stuck in the trauma. You're so busy patching your wound to realize the Band-Aid came off the next day, you're going to put another Band-Aid on, put another Band-Aid, realize the wound is not repairing itself because you just need to change the fucking environment, move the fuck forward. And so there's so many different things that we're teaching in this class that, like, okay, my wife came to me last week. She said, babe, I'm training with Shakina because my back's been hurting me, so I'm going to start working on stretching more. And I said, babe, stop that stretching shit. That's just a myth. She said, well, I said, no, I believe in stretching 100%. Like, stretching, I even consider yoga if they wasn't so soft how I did it. Don't talk to me with extra air in your voice. Hi. Too much. Namaste. Shh. Don't talk to me like that. You're a dude. Anyway, but I believe in stretching and all that stuff, right? But I explained to her, when you have these weak areas of your body, attack it by adding friction. And by adding friction, you're playing the long game. Short-term game is trying to get the pain to go away by massage and stretching, to only realize 2 weeks from now, you're back in that space. All of my injuries from being a person who walked through the valley of injuries, I've attacked all my injuries by, my shoulder went out so bad I couldn't get 10 pounds above my, because the shoulder just went out, I could push 10 pounds above my head. So you saw me at the gym with a 5-pound weight going, oh, fuck, I'm gonna keep going. And my recovery was really fast. I tried the opposite. When I got hit on my motorcycle, I tried to sit that shit out, go to a chiropractor every week. 1 year later, I was still at the chiropractor. I went to the gym one day, my spin instructor, because it was a spin instructor, I was like, I can't take your class, my back is out. So she said, sit your ass down. Don't stand up. Sit on this bike. She had me ride for 1 hour. I got off that bike. For the whole day, my back was amazing. Next day, my back was out, right? No medication was doing that. I kept going back to class every morning. I'm gonna sit this. I'm getting ready to have my day, right? 3 weeks later, my back is gone. It's not because I worked that muscle. So sometimes you gotta approach some problems with friction. Trying to, I just need time in Napa to work my problems out. Whoa. Next slide. Okay, I don't know if you're gonna get the introduction opportunity cost. Let me just close out with this. Next week I'm gonna do opportunity costs. I thought I could move faster, but yeah, I might not give no new slides next week. I'm just gonna give you all this shit right here, and then we do the exercise. Okay, listen, real quick. Let me say this real quick. Listen to what I'm about to say and write this down. This is so important. People do not follow people. People follow brands. This is again. People do not follow other people. Most leaders never talk to their followers. Most followers follow your brand, not you. The average entertainer who's very, very successful knows this. You don't like Snoop Dogg and Jay-Z, you love their brand. If you hung out with Snoop Dogg, how many times have you met somebody you fell in love with, to hang out with them for a day and realize, I don't even like this person, right? So that entertainer, that sport, NBA, that company, that system, your organization protects your brand at all costs, and it has nothing to do with you. So listen to me and stay with me. Some of you might say, but Nana, are you telling us that we're now Disney? Well, yeah, fuck yeah. But the world, when it comes to managing large groups of people, stay with me. We're managing a large group of people, according to this earlier. Truth does not manage people. Stories do. Truth does not. Human beings will kill each other over the truth. As an entrepreneur, you must be a truth master, knowing how to sit, and a story master at the same time. If you're talking to me and trying to sell me something, I should be able to see this as a story. When I'm running my company, I should be able to drive my story. But I also need to be able to always see the truth. If you get too far into either, if you over leverage one or the other, you're going to fail. It's a balance between the two. 50% of the stuff you guys know is wrong. More than 50%. They say 70%, but 50% of the shit you know right now is wrong. So even when you say, I know the truth, the shit you convince is truth, keep living. It's wrong. You are in a story-based world. You could tell me right now that Islam and Christianity is wrong. And I would tell you like Taleb Nassim said, your thinking is wrong. He said, what do you mean? It got you here. The Pope has just as many 1.9 million people, 1.9 billion people following the Pope. That's called effectiveness. China has 1.9 billion people. The United States don't even have a quarter of that shit. We're close to the eighth of what the Pope has access to command 1.9 billion people to do something very similar based upon a single story. One of the coldest stories ever told was the Bible. Doesn't matter if it's true. Now that might be kind of hard because a lot of you have anchored yourself going, my religion's true. And I would tell you that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If there is a God, and God knows that we move based upon stories, does God give us truth or does he give us a story? Cold game, ain't it? Go ahead, Sheena.
Lord. All right, so hang in there with me, all right? You know, my brain a little special ed. In my industry, it is absolutely a blend of truth and story. Because if I tell somebody, hey, y'all, I know you want to get results in 3 months, but it's probably going to take you 2 or 3 years, they're going to walk out the door. And so, or if I tell them, we can only attack one problem at a time because this is an infrastructure problem of your habits, your sleep, and all the other stuff, they're going to walk out the door. So how do you marry the two of creating a convincing story with the truth? Because don't you kind of need both?
I say you need both. I didn't say one doesn't dominate the other. But if you think, even when you just told a story in your statement, you said they have an infrastructure problem, so you have to do one at a time, as far as you know right now. Mm-hmm. You may discover tomorrow, that's a story. You may discover tomorrow, because if you were a scientist every day and you were working on human bodies and you were cutting up with cadavers and you were measuring people and you put a probe on somebody like this little beautiful, gorgeous little girl that we all want to look like in the future, and then you measured to the time she became her mother's age and you watch all the results, you probably can speak with a little bit more certainty. The problem is that you don't have that sample size. Mm-hmm. So you're taking assumptions. So there's some assumptions built in everything you just said. So in order for you to be stronger, what will allow you to upgrade your brand, go back to wicked thinking, that you stand curious. You are seeking truth. You don't stand on any truth. You're seeking truth. Now, what truth you have at the time, you have to show with confidence. Mm-hmm. But when that door closes at the end of the night, you're challenging all your truths because you realize we don't really have accurate sample sizes. Some of those truths have spread really, really fast in your industry because of stories. I know a guy who did this, and then this worked for him, and this one scientist I heard did this, and then he proved this, and then I heard these people on the podcast say, and so then the teacher puts it in a book that we all read that grades us on it, and now the story has become facts. Mm-hmm. See what just happened? If I go back and do the research, I put out a podcast when this guy named something Epstein, and he's do not stereotype Jews because you're Jewish. But the point is this: since his last name was Epstein, right? Epstein. And Epstein was talking about that a lot of times certain ideas would take off in medical spaces or amongst popular spaces like gyms or areas where they're working with human bodies are not professional scientists, and don't realize they're really absorbing stories more than they're absorbing facts, right? And the facts also is what we know at this time, right? Because if you were to go meet a trainer in 1980, you'd be like, you taught people what? Right? Look at the equipment design of 1980. They used to work out on this shit, right? And watch what happens when your daughter becomes your age. Y'all train on this shit here? So because all this stuff is always moving, going back to wicked thinking, then you also move with this desire of being a student of truth as opposed to an owner of truth. You're always a student. You never become an owner of truth because you don't live long enough, nor do you have enough visibility over the sample size that's required to actually establish a degree of truth. Okay, go ahead. And hopefully this focuses your mind a little bit because we over-anchor truth so much in this society, we don't realize we live in a story basis. Let me give you an example. Can I give you a cold-blooded example? I'm a B2B business, right? Most of my business is done with other corporations. When I go into a corporation, if I come in there with the truth, this is your point. If I come in with the truth, I'm causing destruction. I got to figure out what story makes your organization work, and then how to enhance your story even if it's absolutely not true. And that's what makes sense. Because if I come to the truth, I can damn near destroy not only my relationship with the people who are paying me, but they will not even see my value. They'll start saying you're attacking us, or I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But if I acknowledge their story and try to create a story alignment with their results, which is very complex. That's why I don't have in my company, I don't get a chance to go copy and paste, because I'm not anchoring on truth. I'm anchoring on the story that works for you.
So what you're saying is we're selling, I think they're called noble truths. It's a truth that it's not really a truth, but it's a story that creates boundaries for the reality of that company.
Yes, we don't get to. We have to have enough knowledge to be able to read it accurately with truth, right? I got to be able to look at it and look at the accuracy. I got to be able to step back so macro and go, okay, this is what's working here. But if I go inside that corporation and go, this is the truth this is why academics can't build shit. They too fucking truthful, right? Entrepreneurs walk in the environment and be like, oh, this works, huh? Okay, all right, cool. Well, say you come to me right now and you're an entrepreneur and you're not actually fully functioning on truth, but it's working for you. Numbers are coming in. And then I'm seeing friction or frustration or something's breaking, right? I'm going to listen to your stories and see which story that you've actually created that's going against your core truth. And then I get those in alignment, right? Or I would see how much ownership you have over your story, and do you believe your story to be true when it's just a story, and you should know it's just a story. So just pivot that shit. Or have you personally, this is all the shit Court been teaching, or are you emotionally or egotistically blocking, like you think your company is you, not the brand. Go back to what I just said earlier. The company ain't you no more. 510 Media. So Stalin's son, this is on the podcast. Stalin's son went out and started terrorizing with his name. I'm Stalin's son. Give me what the fuck I want. What? What'd it do? Pops heard about it, snatched him up. What the fuck you doing? He goes, I'm a Stalin. He goes, no, you're not, and no am I. Stalin is a brand. And if we don't protect that brand, we don't have this power. Some of y'all think it's your company. Or Pinpoint, Shakina. No, Pinpoint is a brand. Shakina has to protect, she's an overseer of the brand. It is not Pinpoint. If she starts seeing Pinpoint as her company, she will betray the brand. This is how your company becomes more powerful than you, because you're driving something bigger than you. So at the end of the day, once she builds Pinpoint as a story, Disneyland, whatever, NBA. Okay, give you an example. This is a perfect example. Gilbert Arenas and them, right? All these basketball players who try to create these podcasts where they say, oh my God, they don't tell the truth. Or WNBA, they don't tell the truth about what we're really going through. No one gives a fuck about what you're really going through. Nobody's buying what you're really going through. Nobody buying these fucking coded plays you guys are running, all these technical moves you're making. What they're buying is a story that makes that shit important. So when they say, oh, Stephen A. Smith, they don't understand basketball. No, Stephen A. Smith are story makers. And as they tell these stories that make you go, oh, I got to watch that game. Watching one NFL game versus another NFL game. If you walk the fuck away from the NFL, it's just a game, right? What you fall in love with is the brand. So what happens is that you overemphasize, like when Caitlin Clark came to the game, she was a brand boost. And then the players are talking about, but she ain't as good as this. No one gives a fuck about her. I don't give a fuck how good she is. Unless she captures brand, she don't. If we're trying to make money to change your salary is driven by brand, not by the talent of the players. This is why a gym could come along and have whack-ass trainers with a strong-ass brand and smoke you with a profit. And you'd be like, but we're the best trainers in the world because we're about truth. You're missing the fucking conversation. If you don't develop a strong brand, how many times have you, McDonald's versus this great restaurant with the great burgers. What has McDonald's got? Brand. You can tell me there's a computer right now that can smoke an Apple, whatever. What Apple have? Brand. You can tell me Samsung ain't the best Android. Brand. Once you guys understand brand, but some of y'all it's a child mindset. The truth, that's a lie. That's not true. That's a lie. That's not true. Well, if it's not the truth, I can't. You know what? If it's not the truth, I can't deal with it anymore. This is why you ain't gonna make no money.
So there's a you don't. Why you do this at the end of class? Because you don't miss. Okay. The way that I'm thinking about this in my mind is over focusing on truth is akin to over focusing on product, over focusing on brand, because you're heroing all of the qualities that go into a product versus the brand, which is the vehicle that is going to be able to tell the story and go into places that you can't go and go beyond.
And what the
you.
product does is it reinforces the brand, not the brand reinforces the product.
So my question was going to be, when you think about base rates, would you say story is the base rate or truth is the base rate? And how would you, or does that switch depending on the environment?
It switches, but the truth informs the story. So, for example, something happened in 510 Media, right? And I say, hey, guys, stop. We got to make this type of decision. Your touch point to the outside world. You got to make this kind of decision. Why? Because you have to protect our brand. Everything you do, for example, okay, think about this, people. Kim Kardashian. They didn't show you brand mastery. That's brand mastery. She didn't have a product.
Hell yeah.
I mean, she was cute and shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hate on her. The man in me would be disrespectful to hate on her. But she wasn't like, oh my God, I've never seen nothing like this before. And she could sing, act, build some shit, manage some shit. Her mother understood that story is so fucking powerful. Mm-hmm. If I build a strong enough brand, all you need to do, sweetheart, is just when the camera come on, do this. Brand. Let's get out of here.
Their story is so strong that when they found out that she was embellishing how much sales Kylie Jenner's makeup brand was doing, it didn't affect the brand at all, which is crazy to even consider.
But that's what, once we understand the brand game, as you get older, the more people you impact, the less they're going to know you. But what they will know is your brand. Do you know there's people right now that come to fight to me that doesn't even know that I'm the dominant owner anymore? They might think Mashama. They even think Dre. They might think Scott's the owner. They might think James is the owner. And guess what? I don't give it. Josh, a little way to go, but you're almost there. The point is this. Might work in my favor, though, because, hey, that Jewish community is a dope community. Point is this. So, but the thing is that, but the key thing is that when the team goes out, what I'm also always analyzing, are you protecting my brand? If you do anything to threaten my brand, I have to let you go. I can love you to death, but if you're threatening my brand, I don't give a fuck. I have to protect the brand all because the brand is how I eat. People don't give a fuck about me. When I show up to my company and whatever I'm doing is enhancing truth to drive my brand. When I brought that building, I put that thing on my wall, that brand, okay, I'm gonna wait a minute. I want to hear this. But my brand on that building I purchased, the way I'm designing that building, it's all brand enhancement. Right? If my business say I'm the big dog, for example, you say this person is a very powerful business person, right? When you say somebody's a very, very powerful business person, right? Do you really know their numbers? Or do you know their brand? Mm-hmm. Once you pay attention to this game, you realize brand, if you're a very, very powerful person, you go to Hollywood, do you pay for anything? No. But does people look at your bank account or they look at your brand? Mm-hmm. You see where I'm going with this? Brand is everything. But some of y'all are so truthful, you can't build a brand. That's not true. I don't think that's true. We go into big corporations sometimes, right? Let's say a college. College brings in students. Students come in, they have their own stories. You got a new group of kids coming in, 1,000 kids, 200 kids, 300 kids. They're all going to walk through your gates with their own story. If a university doesn't have a strong brand and say, when you walk through these doors, you're now part of this brand, they will flood the school with their story, and now you have conflict and protesting and da-da-da, and da-da. Now the school can't even function because the outside brand is impacting the internal brand. Y'all see how cold this shit is? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
What does brand mean?
So brand, I'm making, that's a, matter of fact,
Yeah.
from a beautiful person, that's a dope question. Matter of fact, you about to make me smile. You just warm my heart. Just hearing your voice warm my heart. Brand is your person, your reputation, who you are, how people see you. For example, like at school, what will people say about you? If you ask your people about you, what will they say about you? Huh?
They say I have really pretty outfit.
You what?
They say I have a really pretty outfit.
So, okay, then that's part of your brand. That's who you are. So we don't see ourselves in a mirror in a desert. We see ourselves relative to others. That's your personal brand, right? How you think the world sees you and how you want the world to see you, that's your brand, right? I think that's the most simplest way I can say it, right? And for businesses develop a way they want the world to see them. But what happens is that sometimes we start to intervene in the process by either neglecting that and think because I work hard and I got a great product and I'm one of the best in the game, ain't gonna do a brand, baby. You gotta work, you gotta do that stuff too, which reinforces your brand value. But ultimately, you gotta shape, this is who you're doing business with. When you buy Jordans, you're not buying, you don't even know Jordan made the shoes. You're buying the brand. Most of the things you buy in this world is if you pay attention to the things you like, the people, if you tell me, who are people you love? Like you say, I love Martin Luther King. Do you love Martin Luther King or do you love his brand? You love his brand. I'm voting for Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. No, you're not. You're voting for the brand. like that's why Donald Trump won the last election. He's a brand king. Go to New York and look up and be like, God damn, that Trump is clean. like they didn't say Nana up there. It said Trump. It didn't say Fight to Me. It said Trump. And when you see where it's located, you be like, this is some expensive ass real estate. So when he runs for president, he's been playing the brand game. And if for a president who's playing this, I'm telling you the truth and I intend to do this for people and I really care. Trash by. We don't care. Boo. Put me to sleep. Brand. Get past the microphone, thank you.
So there's, when you were talking about branding in the beginning, I was thinking about, so I'm an artist, right? So that's my world. So I tend to think about, there's, Pierre Moss, Kirby. The reason why he's so powerful is his story and the way he talks about it, I think. And for me, like, I first kind of caught wind to him because of an interview he did and listening to his story. And he's a really powerful storyteller, right? But not everybody is going to sit and listen to a whole interview about your story. And so, like, my question is, like, what's the best way to kind of express or show your brand without, sitting on a soapbox telling your story?
It's everything you do. Every touch point you have with your customer is how you touch. For example, if Snoop Dogg walked in his room and he just walked in his room, you expect him to walk in the room some kind of way. I don't care how he feels before he walked in his room. He don't get to say, I don't feel like doing that today. Or today, I feel like wearing flowers and and a pink shirt and just being colorful and loving everybody and just being earthly. I'm sorry, Soup, you don't get that one, bro. That's why when gangster rappers get taken off the throne, they're like, ooh, like Drake. Okay, Drake has been a brand masterpiece for like 13 years, whatever. He's been a brand master, right? That's not even who he is. Doesn't matter. And when Kendrick Lamar came for him, he attacked his brand, and everybody's like, ooh, that's a hard hit.
Yeah.
Because if I attack your brand by saying, this is who you really are, and this is your brand, and you're not like us, right? so at the end of the day, it's like, that shit's real.
Yeah.
Like, if you understand what the fuck he did,
yeah,
that's a powerful ass.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot him with like a sniper bullet. He blew up his whole fucking neighborhood, right? And so once you understand brand power, you understand why certain artists.
Yeah, man.
What was the Kardashian sister who won't let you take a picture of her?
Chloe.
Chloe will not let you take a picture of her to threaten her brand.
Yeah.
You may think it's stupid because you're being truthful. Like, that's not who she really is, and that's silly. That don't make no sense. Chloe's like, wait a minute. My sister here got money and my sister here got money. Oh, I need to play this brand game. And if this brand games mean you need to see me this way to protect my brand, that's what and every entertainer you see on television right now, everything you like on TV is a brand story. Every sport you watch, you love, it's a brand story. Even when you hear about a player, they don't tell you the real player. They don't go to player life and be like, yo, last night, Puffy is being destroyed because of branding, not because of the reality. How in the hell are you going to be mad about what Puffy does and all the rest of these N-word, B-word, cussing, don't give a fuck, smoke, rob you, steal you, pimping, Mac if it's a day one, you don't see them. You just see Puffy. Because somebody is destroying his brand.
Yeah.
Because a lot of rappers have moved like him. Don't think he's the only. Are you really think in hip hop he's the only one? Like just wrap your mind around. I'm not justifying nor am I going against it. I'm saying just the narrow focus of the dialogue shows how power of branding. Branding is so, that's why when you work at the house as an entrepreneur or when your business goes out and engage with people, I was talking to somebody on my team, I said, everything you do needs to be at a certain level. Every time you touch something, it has to hit a certain level. I don't give a fuck if I'm just passing you a document, it needs to be at a certain level. If you ever sat in my office, if you have a meeting in the office, Shabisha Tanil will tell you this, that table better be set up a certain kind of way. Ask old when Marquita first came to work for us, ask how many times she got cussed out, like, what's this shit right here? And she was like, oh my God, now you get on my nerves. She didn't realize the brand is greater than us, Marquita. I can't pay you if I lose this brand. I can't pay myself. Because once I lose my brand, a lesser qualified talent can come along and take my position because they got a better brand. That's why some of y'all be sitting there sour talking about, man, I'm better than him. I don't understand why he blew up. Because you don't understand brand. If you understand brand with your talent, you'll be a beast. See where I'm going with this? Harley Davidson is not the best motorcycle. I ride Harleys like a motherfucker. I just put some tins on my Harley. My shit slaps. But anyway, point is this. I ride Harleys. Harley got me because what? That brand is sexy as fuck. But when it comes like, if you want to say, if I was into reliability and a high quality motorcycle, I'd be buying me a Japanese motorcycle. They're the best motorcycles in the game. But brand matters. Everybody rolls right. When a Harley comes down the street, heads turn because the brand says, hey, here comes that brand. Once you understand this brand game, many of you are losing because you're too fucking intellectual. That's not true. That's not true, Nana. That's not true. That's not true. You hella broke. That's not true. That's not true. Can I borrow some money? No, that's not true either. Anyway, hey, if something I was supposed to say, I was supposed to be sensitive about something. I forgot. Listen, y'all have a good night. Next week, we're gonna work on this opportunity costs. Listen to those goddamn podcasts I put out, people. I got some doper podcasts to keep going coming, but I'm not gonna keep giving y'all podcasts and y'all sending motherfuckers and them motherfuckers just sitting in your back like it's on your shelf, like some old ass books that you have in your house that you ain't never read. So with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow.